7:36, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. All right, I got a lot I want to cover. So first of all, there is a mayor in Lancaster, California. And Lancaster, California, like many communities across the country, has been overrun with illegal aliens. And so this guy, he's at looks like a city council meeting or something. And they're talking about the scourge of illegal immigration and all of these folks that have come into their community. And he's trying to figure out where to put them. And so from what it sounds like, Joan, it sounds like he wants to sort of store them or put them kind of like all in one place, build a tent city somewhere within the community. Yeah,
well, what he did was there's a golf course that closed down in his community. So he decided, hey, let's all just put them there and allow them to put their tents up in this golf course because nobody's using it anyway. But the neighbors had a problem with that.
Yeah, they did.
In a golf course community.
So yeah. He gets up, and this is all being discussed. And so he gets up, and I want you to listen to what it is that this Mayor Paris, had to say.
It sounds like you want to kind of enclose all these homeless people in one territory.
And what I want to do is give them free fentanyl. I mean, that's what I want to do.
Do what?
I want to give them free fentanyl. You know?
I can't understand what you're saying. You wanted to get them what?
I want to give them all the fentanyl they want. That's what I want.
That was not kind. So,
did you hear what she said, by the way?
She said that was not kind.
She did. She said that is not kind. But she whispered it.
As if nobody would hear it, just him.
As if nobody would hear it, just I find this so funny.
That's what I want.
That was not kind. So,
that was not kind. And he said, I want to give them all the fentanyl they want. Because he's tired of, their community being overrun. And he says it unapologetically. So as you can imagine, this caused quite the, commotion, quite the controversy in California. And so he told Channel 11 in California what he meant by that. And he didn't really back down, Joan. He wants to give them all fentanyl.
Yep.
And he doesn't care who knows it. He doesn't care what happens to them because they are destroying his community.
During the course of the meeting, I think I did say that if it were up to me, I'd be giving them fentanyl.
Oh, no. You did say it. That is exactly what you said, that you would give them all the free fentanyl they wanted. Obviously saying, if you illegal aliens want to kill yourselves instead of destroying our community, well then have at it. Here's all the fentanyl you want.
But I made it very clear I was talking about the criminal element that were let out of the prisons that have now become 40 to 45% of what's referred to as the homeless population. They are responsible for most of our robberies, most of our rapes, and at least half of our murders.
Wow.
Quite frankly, I wish the president would give us a purge because we do need to purge these people.
I guarantee you, Joan, the people that live in Lancaster, they're like, at least somebody finally said it.
Out loud.
At least somebody finally said it unapologetically.
Yep.
Out loud. They are destroying our community. So why exactly is it that we're allowing them to destroy our community? So if we can't get rid of them, let's figure out a way that they can get rid of themselves.
Is it harsh? Of course it's harsh. But it's my obligation as the mayor of the city of Lancaster to protect the hardworking families that live there. And I am no longer able to do it.
So there you go. If I was a lesser talk show host, I'd throw out a talk radio show question.
Uh-huh.
Hey, should we give illegals fentanyl? Let's go to the phones. 615-737-9090. But I'm not going to do that. But you know what?
Did.
No, I didn't. Maybe we should make that the Daily Dan poll question. No, we're not going to do that. But I guarantee you that people in California, conservatives in California, who are frustrated with the state of their community understand exactly what he is saying. And he clarified, look, we're talking about the gang members. We're talking about the people that are murdering and are robbing and are destroying our community. So the Lancaster, California mayor, Mayor Paris, I think his name is, he is definitely under fire this morning. But I think a lot of people understand the sentiment. Now, also, there is some audio that I'm going to play, and Joan turned me on to it. It's Elizabeth Warren and a podcast that she is engaged in, and the Red Eye guys were playing this as well. If you missed it, this is so incredibly funny because she's on a podcast, and she is asked about why did she say that the mental state of Joe Biden was actually okay. This did not go well for Elizabeth Warren. It is going viral.
Do you regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him. You said that up until July of last year.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
I said I had not seen decline. And I hadn't.
Now, what's funny, Joan, is that, have you seen the actual video?
I haven't seen the video.
So at that moment, the podcaster gives Elizabeth Warren sort of like a, come on, like a head cock. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like that JD Vance look, that now famous or infamous, whatever, JD Vance, look that turned into a meme where it's like, come on, man. And he's giving that to Elizabeth Warren, and she gives it to him right back. Like she's, with her facial expression and her head cock, she's almost begging him not to pursue this line of questioning any further. It's like, please don't call me out anymore. I know that I sound like I'm BSing. I know that I sound like I'm tap dancing, but please, no more of this because clearly I'm lying.
At that point.
You did not see any decline from 2024 Joe Biden to 2021 Joe Biden?
Not when I said that. The thing is, he was sharp. He was on his feet. I saw him. Live event. I had meetings with him a couple of times.
Senator, on his feet is not praise. He can speak in sentences is not praise.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Look, the question is, what are we going to do now?
Okay.
No, that's not the question. No. What are we going to do now? I'll tell you, though, if she wants to do that, what are we going to do now? Not trust you or the Democrats or the media ever again.
Do you hear the way she's like heavy breathing, like she's not really sure what to do now? She has this. Did you hear the breathiness? I mean, she's so taken back. She doesn't know what to do.
She has no idea what to say. She has no idea what to do because you know what? She knows that she's lying.
Oh, yeah.
She knows that she's lying. The host knows that she's lying. And anybody who watches that podcast knows that she's lying. And so they've just, I don't mean to beat a dead horse that is Elizabeth Warren, but nobody believes them anymore. And I think that when she says, well, the question is, what do we do moving forward? I don't know, because your party is still broken and you had a horrible 2024 election cycle. First it was Joe Biden, then Kamala Harris was a complete train wreck as well. And you tried to lie about Kamala Harris the way that you lied about Joe Biden, because guess what you did? You tried to paint her as some sort of a moderate when in reality, she was a wretched, wretched liberal. So the Democrats, they've just been proven liars time and time and time again. Now, Bill Maher and his dinner, his now infamous dinner with Donald
Trump. Getting a message.
I know I'm getting. You know what? My phone and the super text line are going crazy because that's my wife. I know it's not working. I know the stream isn't working. It's like nobody listens to the radio anymore. Anyway, moving right along. So Bill Maher had the dinner with Donald Trump. You remember that?
Okay, that's my report. You can hate me for it, but I'm not a liar. Trump was gracious and measured, and why he isn't that in other settings, I don't know, and I can't answer, and it's not my place to answer. I'm just telling you what I saw, and I wasn't high.
All right, so you remember all that. He had a lot of nice things to say about Donald Trump, basically saying that Donald Trump in person during this dinner, he was gracious and he was great. No problem whatsoever. Didn't really match what Bill Maher knew about Donald Trump's public persona. Larry David, did you see this? He came out with a venom-laced op-ed in the New York Times titled, wait for it, My Dinner with Adolf.
Oh, my gosh.
Unleashing on Bill Maher for one thing, having dinner with President Donald Trump. This is how USA Today puts it. The fictional piece was written from the perspective of a person who had dinner with Adolf Hitler in 1939 and came away impressed that the Nazi leader was so personable, despite having been a vocal critic of him on the radio from the beginning. David, who is Jewish, never mentioned Bill Maher or Donald Trump in the article, but the language he used closely mirrored the way the real-time host spoke about his dinner with Donald Trump. This is a quote. I found the whole thing quite disarming, David's essay read. I joked that I was surprised to see him in a tan suit because if he wore that out, it would be perceived as unfuhrer-like. That amused him to no end, and I realized I'd never seen him laugh before. Suddenly, he seemed so human. Also writing, here I was prepared to meet Hitler, the one I'd seen and heard, the public Hitler, but this private Hitler was a completely different animal. And oddly enough, this one seemed more authentic, like this one was the real Hitler. The whole thing had my head spinning. So that is just a couple of passages of Larry David and his venom-laced op-ed in the New York Times titled My Dinner with Adolf, again, unleashing on Bill Maher for having dinner with President Donald Trump and having the audacity to say that Donald Trump was gracious. So Scott Jennings was on CNN and he started talking about Larry David and cancel culture on the left.
And the message of this is not to, because Bill Maher, first of all, I totally agree. He's totally in the right to do it. And I loved his monologue. Even though I disagree with most everything he believes politically, he was right to do this and he was right to speak out about it. But this isn't about that dinner. It's about the next one, because this is the modern left. It's an attempt always to intimidate people into not ever doing it again. It's to silence yourselves or we'll do it for you. Yep. That's the purpose of this op-ed, so that the next comedian or the next person on the American left chooses not to speak to Donald Trump. This is all an effort to get people not to do what you just said, which is to talk to each other and our political leaders.
There you go. And Scott Jennings, I believe, is right. Brilliant. And here's the thing, is that, number one, the left is going after Bill Maher. And number two, it is all part of, that cancel culture. You know what happened to the last person the left tried to cancel? You remember who that was? Well, I mean, it's like a perpetual attempt at cancellation.
Who?
Joe Rogan. Mm-hmm. And guess what happened with Joe Rogan?
His fame shot up.
Not only did his fame shot up, but he had Donald Trump on his show, and Donald Trump and Rogan had a great conversation. It was hours long. Kamala Harris wouldn't go on his show, but Joe Rogan and Donald Trump, they had an amazing show. And that, in my opinion, was a big part of Donald Trump's victory. So I think the left they're creating their own problems, because Bill Maher said, hate me if you want. And so what the left is doing is they're attacking people for simply having conversations. That tells you a number of different things. Number one, it tells you that they cannot defend some of their policies, which is true. And number two, that cancel culture is alive and well within the Democrat Party. And so if they continue to do this, if they continue to try to cancel people like Joe Rogan, people like Bill Maher, others within, their culture, their own culture, the progressive culture, if they continue to try to cancel those people, then those folks will become, frankly, more powerful voices than ever. And guess what's going to happen? They'll turn against that cancel culture that canceled them, and they'll become more powerful. They'll have the conversation with the people on the right. And then guess what happens? Those people on the right, all of a sudden, they start having actual conversations, and people say, well, that wasn't so bad. That person wasn't so bad. Donald Trump wasn't so bad. He's not Hitler. J.D. Vance is not Hitler. J.D. Vance also had an incredible hours-long conversation with Joe Rogan.
It looks like the sentiment may be spreading. So from the Telegraph, which is a newspaper out of the UK, a headline this morning, talk show hosts who made their careers bashing Trump are changing their tune. Bill Maher, Jimmy Kimmel, and Jon Stewart are among the comedians warming to the U.S. president.
Yep. There you go. Meantime, who would the left be warming up to? Illegal aliens.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Illegal aliens. Mahmoud Khalil, the pro-Hamas dude out there in, I don't know where, Washington, D.C., whatever it is. And Luigi Mangione, of course, the guy that shot that insurance executive in cold blood. People like that. And if that's who they want to link arms with, knock yourselves out, progressives. Just keep on keeping on all the way to the midterm elections and beyond. 5:53, and by the way, from what I understand, the stream is now up.
Nice.
So, well
I can
done.
confirm. I see it.
Well done, KG, because, I did for the second day in a row now, I have worn a button-up shirt.
Oh, you wanted everyone to see it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to match Murphy's show, because Murphy's show looks all coiffed these days.
Yeah.
And so, I'm trying to match Murphy Show's attire, and I can't match the man's charm. Certainly can't match his hair, but I can
Certainly not.
I can try to dress just a little bit better. Anyway, Joan Jones, please get me out of this. What's coming up at 6?
Well, we'll tell you what borders are. Tom Homan has to say about, and I'm going to use the media's way of saying his name, Kilmar Abrego Garcia's chance of landing back on U.S. soil. Also, a class that some high schoolers around here are looking forward to taking. Those stories and more coming up at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.